Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Cosmic Blessons podcast. It is September 23rd, the day that I'm recording this, and I wanted to talk about the eclipses that just happened. We had a lunar eclipse in Pisces on the 7th of this month, and then we just had the partial solar eclipse on the 21st, and this was in Virgo. And oh man, let me tell you, I have felt these ones like pretty intensely. And just to give a little bit of reference as to like what eclipses are about in astrology, they happen when the sun and the moon and one of the lunar nodes align, and that alignment is like when the light is dimmed. So symbolically, old stories get eclipsed so that new ones can emerge. They tend to bring change and big revelations and force a kind of like between worlds moment with like endings and beginnings. And so with the North Node being in Pisces, this is like the way that most of us are going to be moving forward in things. And the South Node is in Virgo, and so those are kind of the things that we need to let go and release in order to move forward. So the North Node in Pisces, some themes that are involved with that are like letting go of the messiness and needing to like micromanage things and overthinking and overworking, and letting like your intuition kind of lead you and trusting into that, trusting into like more of the unknown and having faith. Pisces is very like spiritual as well and intuitive. Virgo is very analytical, so we're looking at releasing over critical things, being hyper organized, very rigid and micromanaging things, just letting go of the idea that everything has to be an exact way before you start. And I feel like I have definitely felt some of this, and I will definitely give you guys some examples of what it's looked like in my life. So the eclipses are just energies that feel so much more intense. Like the new moon, they say it's like 100 times more powerful than a regular new moon. And wow, did I feel it. And I'm also a Virgo rising. So this was happening very, very close to where my ascendant is. It wasn't right on my ascendant, but also I happened to be born, I'm an eclipse baby. The sun happened to be in the same degree that the eclipse happened. I was born like a few hours after the eclipse happened, but so I just feel that energy very, very deeply. And the day after the eclipses, we went into it's the equinox, so it was like a double duty, like all of these things happening back to back. And yeah, there's a lot of other things, but I just wanted to talk about how this has manifested into my life. I just felt like basically when the full moon happened, and I just wasn't able to do things. I felt very floaty. I felt very like shaken up, and and this is not the first time that this has happened. I actually have had several moments this year where I've had this same feeling of like, oh my gosh, I like things are dissolving underneath me, and like I don't have any, like I don't know where to grab or grasp, and things just feel somehow like fake or like an illusion, and like I'm not sure where I want to grab. And then when I look at the things as they are, I'm like, but is this truly what I even want anymore? And just this whole, just like, I felt like I was just like losing this whole sense of myself all over again. And where was I going with this? It's very on par with the theme of eclipse energy in general, which is that we're being called to clear and surrender and birth new things. In that light, I have been doing my own clearing. I have been struggling with creating things the last couple of weeks, And I finally sat there and I'm a multimedia artist. So I work with a whole bunch of different mediums. Sometimes I'll do digital. Sometimes I want to just draw in my sketchbook. Sometimes I want to paint. Sometimes I do a combination of those things. And so because I have so many different supplies, I just had them everywhere. And it was impossible for me to create. I would just have this overwhelming sense of like, I would go to an area and it would be so cluttered that I wouldn't know what to do. And then I'd walk away and I'd go to another area, but that place was also cluttered. And it was just like that nonstop for like the last 2 weeks. And I just felt like I was constantly having to like clean and do stuff, and like me, you know, taking care of my family and doing things like that. I was like being pulled in all of these directions, and I just could not focus on like clearing my own stuff. It was just, again, with the feelings of like being floaty, and like I don't know how else to quite describe it, but it was just like I couldn't quite focus and get my shit done, you know. And that's okay. That's very real and very human. But so not to mention like clearing my workspace, I also cleared off some space on my laptop. I was running out of space. I couldn't even edit the last episode of the podcast, and I just kept putting it off because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to have to. I just couldn't get around having to think of like what my next steps were to be able to edit this podcast episode. And the answer was like either move things off of the laptop to clear space, or like put it on a hard drive or delete it or whatever. And so I ended up doing both of those things, but I just was not in the space to be able to actually act on those actions for some reason. And I just kept feeling this slowing down, this energy of like I had to be still and I had to stay kind of like it wasn't time for me to make those big moves. I was still in this place of almost like recalibration or something, where like to think of like a butterfly, you know, when a butterfly is in a cocoon, when it's in that stage, it's literally melting into this goo, into something completely different. And then when it finally does start to come out of I said cocoon, out of the chrysalis, you know, it's still like wet, and the wings are, you know, have to fold out, and they have to dry out before it's able to take flight. And so I have felt like I have been in the goo of the the chrysalis, and I feel like my wings are finally like stretched out and I'm about ready to start flying. So yeah, the decluttering, you know, I'm like, okay, I was able to do that. I also am recording this on a new microphone because I was able to set up a new mic, and I feel like this was part of that energy of like clearing out the old and really looking at my daily routines and what are the things that I'm doing to really help me do the things that I want to every single day that is going to help me push my business forward. And making my work space set up in a way that I'm able to do those things is absolutely like on par with the themes of what's going on in this eclipse season. So let's see, Virgo is what we want to release, and Pisces is kind of what we want to cultivate. And so Virgo happens to be in my 12th house, and Pisces has to do with my 6th house. So it's like my everyday routines, my health, things of that sort. So I also have started working out again. I went through a period where I was just like, man, I don't know why. I just can't figure out what to do to exercise. I was not feeling motivated. And the last 2 days, I was just like, no, I totally understand. Like, I put on a workout, I do it, and I'm like, I do this because I am a healthy person. I do this because I love my body. I do this because this feels good. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be in this place where I'm finding my own practices that are helping me really truly be and live as the highest version of myself. Another practice that I have come to kind of look into a little bit more is cycle syncing. And I don't have it totally perfect. I am somebody that has had irregular menstrual cycles pretty much my whole life. And I have been taking this traditional Chinese herbal medicine tincture earlier this year as a way to help balance my cycle. And so it's getting more regular. And with that knowing of like when I'm going to be bleeding, that helps me figure out what part of my cycle I'm in. And there, with each phase, there are different energies that I have, because your hormones are different. So we're not meant to be going 100% all of the time. They're, depending on which phase we're in, will determine like how much work we're able to do. At least that's what I've learned about myself, is like, oh, okay, there are certain times where I'm just gonna do less. And so how do I set myself up to succeed when I'm in certain, when I'm in the luteal phase, or if I'm in the follicular phase, or, there's just like working with my energy in the best way that is possible. If I try to do a bunch of, when I'm feeling motivated and when I'm in that phase where I am able to output a lot of work, I will do as much as I can. And then I will really respect those other days where I just do not feel like I have the energy to do it, because I'm not going to be in that energy all of the time. Of course, it's a cycle. I hope that makes sense. But this is something that I really haven't paid enough attention to for most of my life, and so now I'm really trying to honor myself, honor my cycle, honor my energy. And that just goes back into the making sure my workspace is set up in a way that I'm able to get my work done, and paying attention to my energy and what part of my cycle that I'm in, so that I'm maximizing my energy in the most effective way, that goes in a way that flows instead of fighting it. So there's like this, this kind of balance between structure and surrender. So yes. So I just want to go ahead and ask y'all, what space, internal or external, do you need to make for your new chapter? Do you feel like you need to declutter your space? Do you feel like you need to delete digital files off of your computer to make space for something new? Oh, and I have another funny story. Like I said, I made space on my laptop, and then not even a couple hours later, I had a friend reach out to me and ask if I could edit something for her. And I could not have done that if I did not have the space. So, if she had asked me anytime earlier, the answer would have been no. But the fact that I had just cleared off the space, I feel like that energy right there just made that happen. That someone came up to me, when I had the ability to create this thing, and I was really, really grateful I was able to put together this thing for her. Also, yeah, I just need to get back into the habit of recording episodes and not overthinking it, because I'm already thinking like, oh, I said and too many times, and I'm not going to edit. That's part of what I originally told myself, was I'm just going to record the episodes and put them out there and not worry about the editing. And so I found myself in getting stuck again, because I was trying to be perfect about it, and that has stopped me from putting out work. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. How have y'all held up during these eclipses? Please let me know if there's anything significant that came up for you, or if you found, if you can relate to some of these things about letting go and starting these new chapters. And that's it. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Okay, bye.